And I had a nosebleed.
What?
A nosebleed right into your...
Whenever the temperature shifts, I get a nosebleed.
your nose is like Dee Dee's ass.
Yeah. Gross.
You need to get a humidifier in here.
Falling off. I don't know.
I'm saying that would help.
Yeah,
Legitimate friend advice.
that and some Vicks Vapor Rub.
Put it on your chest.
Oh, I asked Jay to put it on last night. He
I said I would, but he didn't go get it.
Yeah, but was I supposed to go get it?
Yeah.
I can see why
I'm
you
the one
wouldn't
doing all
want
the work.
it. Yeah, it tastes awful. The least you can do is get it for him.
It tastes awful, do you say?
I assumed you were using it as lube.
Why didn't I think about that?
I was just so weird that you were so excited.
So I came from my daughter's birthday party. That's why I had to leave early so I could come.
Yeah, how sad is that?
Is it sad? Really? The party was wrapping up. It was
Oh, okay.
Somebody
yeah, kids.
co-created with you?
She was
Believe it
getting
or
ready
not,
to open her presents, and I came right
See
here.
that?
We didn't plan it. I only have one.
So if you're listening,
My
you're
daughter
mistaken.
just turned 8.
Wow. That's a good age.
Yeah, she's fun.
They're still not mouthy and bitchy.
Yeah, she's not the worst person I've ever met yet.
Right.
No, his
She will be-
is.
Yeah,
She
in
will
4
when
years.
you
Still in
found
the
out you
formative
loved her.
years. You can still kind of mold them a little bit.
Exactly. Yeah, as soon as she hears this, way different.
Hours and hours of you talking about horrific
The
things.
worst stuff possible.
Especially the show.
So just a correction, you guys are all complete assholes. And we're completely wrong. And I never said the consumer's energy bit on the show.
Consumer's energy.
Yeah, remember
Yeah, where
on the season
he said he was
premiere?
eating dinner and then...
Oh.
I never said that on the show. I told... See, that's why I'm not going to tell any stories that I've ever told on the podcast. I'm going to tell the podcast to you in real life. Because
We're no longer friends.
what happened was I was telling this story about this lady that came up to the House for Consumers Energy, and she asked me if I was. I told her I was eating dinner. I didn't have time for her survey, and then she was like, "Let me see your dinner." I'm like, what part of this makes you feel like I'm gonna like you already don't trust me? Now I'm gonna have you come into my house?
You're going to ask me to do a survey, and you're not going to take my word that I'm eating dinner?
Yeah, and I wasn't eating dinner, so.
Oh, so you were lying,
Yeah.
and she had every right not
Yeah.
to believe you.
Yeah, right. But she wanted me to switch over to some other energy company, and I'm
So
not
it
gonna.
wasn't DTE.
No, it was Consumers Energy, and I think they. I don't know. I didn't really get into it with her.
He was too concerned lying.
Yeah, but I started telling that story on our season premiere, and everybody called me out that I already told that story on the podcast before, which I didn't.
So I have the urge to not let you finish again.
On that happy note, welcome to Divided by Zero.
Welcome to the vitamin. I was drinking.
Way to make up for it.
You should have done spit take.
What you got? Got you right back.
Yeah.
So, are you starting or am I starting?
You go. You go.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Happy
I
New
guess.
Year's. Oh yeah. This will come out New Year's Eve, right?
Something like that. I
Yeah,
don't
New Year's
know.
Eve.
We're recording this on the end of the world day.
And
Yeah.
if you're listening to this, I'm sorry you don't have any friends to go to a party with.
Maybe they're just doing that tonight.
True dat.
Michigan is a medical marijuana state. We have legal medical marijuana. And I just want to know what kind of a name for a medical facility Ganja Mamas is. They have like this giant like Egyptian bird man as their logo. and the name is Ganja Mamas.
I just heard a fun fact today about marijuana that it doesn't actually subdue your pain. It just changes the way your brain receives it.
Well, isn't all pain an interpretation of some type of an electrical signal by your brain?
Yeah, but it
Yes.
changes the way that your frontal lobe connects with your pain center instead of like dulling it like normal painkillers.
It's just, it subdues your pain in a different area of the body. Instead of numbing the nerve endings on the site, it's just changing
No, it
the
actually
way...
makes you feel a different. It makes you feel differently than pain. Like you're feeling like more like
More of a permanent rewiring
Yeah.
than a solution.
yeah.
Well, it's
That's
not a
it.
permanent rewiring, is it? It's only while the...
That's just with the
It sounded permanent.
the little preview to the article I saw from Huffington Post Science today.
the most reliable news source on the
Yeah.
internet.
Whatever
Huffington
works.
Post. You can go ahead now.
Okay, have I told you guys the poop in the bag story?
No,
Bag?
not even in real life.
Okay, because I was just telling this story the other day to my brother, and he said that I never told him either. A long time ago, I was dating this girl, and I went over to her brother's house for dinner, and we were there, and I went to go to the bathroom, and they're like, "Hey, what are you going in there for?" And I was like, "Just gonna go to the bathroom."
There's, probably
They're like-
2 or 3 things I could do in here.
They're like, "Well, you can pee down the toilet, but if you have to poop, there's little bags on the side that you put on the toilet seat and poop into the bag, and then when you're done, you can take it outside and bury it." and then his wife got up like, "Oh wait, I don't know if I changed the bag from last time."
No!
I'm like, this relationship's gonna end soon, and it did.
So the poop was left in there.
Now, I've heard of, like, in Europe, how they have their septic systems can't handle, like, toilet paper. So they throw the toilet paper in a wastebasket.
Yeah.
And they can flush the actual waste. But, like, why wouldn't you be able to shit in the toilet?
That's
When
actually...
I went
go
to
ahead.
Europe, I flushed the toilet paper every time. And I must have ruined at least 16 toilets when I was there.
Fuck those Euros.
Well, they told us on the ship too, like to not put any toilet paper down the toilet, but we always did. We even played games because it was like on the ship has like suction, so we'd like run the toilet paper down the hall and then hit it and like shoot it all the way down.
I got 3/4 of a roll!
You say you did races.
Oh yeah, we definitely did.
What were you saying, Masters?
Oh, I was just saying it's not just Europe. That was a big problem that we experienced when I was living in Southern California.
Oh.
Because a lot of people who are Mexican citizens don't want to flush the toilet paper. So the bathrooms just have shitty toilet paper all over the floor because it just
Alright.
has like a tiny little wastebasket because
Oh, yeah,
they
it's
just
filled up
assume
by-
you're going to flush it. So it just overflows and you walk in and the aroma is overpowering. And you're like seeing all these skid marks
The
on the
basket
paper.
is not in the stall, I assume.
No.
So they have to like collect these shitty pieces and carry them out with them and put them in the
Well,
bin?
why do you say pieces? Do you like pull more than one piece at a wiping
Well,
session?
I'm saying
You
Yeah, I wipe
just
like-
one
yeah.
square.
I wipe with one length of toilet
well, I do
paper.
too, but
Like a
I do
normal
it.
person.
I do it multiple times.
Wait, what do you mean you wipe one length?
So I pull out, depending on the brand. If it's Charmin Ultra, I've narrowed it down that I only need 4 squares.
I'm assuming this is like
If
public
it's Angel
bathroom,
Soft,
like
I need
nothing.
6 squares. If it's public bathroom, it's generally 8 to 10. But I pull that all down, and then I put it in the shape that I prefer, and then I use that.
Does any person use the one square at a time? Does anybody?
No.
do that?
I don't think so.
I do 3 and then 2 and then 1.
I do.
Okay.
So
I like
you
to
do
do
We have a
your
method.
multiple.
That's yeah.
Yeah, I do 3
Okay.
and I fold it up the way I like it, and then
Yeah.
I do 2, just make sure everything was gone, and then 1 to make
I
one
can
for
get behind
safety.
that.
One for safety.
I do
Because
it.
toilet paper is expensive.
I do it very similar, but I'm a crumpler.
You're a crumpler.
Really?
I'm a crumpler.
That's very inefficient.
Well, it works
Yeah.
just fine.
Wait. Now, I want to talk about this for a while. Do you lean over?
You've been itching to talk about.
I have.
This has been weighing on my soul for
Do
years.
you lean to one side and wipe your ass, or you do through the leg?
Through the leg?
So
I know.
No, I do two methods. The first pass, I lean
Wait, do
all
you
the way
use two
forward.
hands at a time?
No. One hand, dominant right hand. But I lean forward and I go like back to front.
Okay.
And then
I do that too.
I kind of like fold over and then go back for the
You
front
can't
to back.
Oh, see, no.
Okay. All right.
Now, when I do the downstroke, I deposit it in the toilet on the downstroke, and then I go for the refill. The second set of
See,
three squares.
I lean back and put my legs on the wall. Take both hands.
I just use the corner of the
So
door.
high.
I just play the GI Joes and then never wipe. No, I lean over with one butt cheek. Like all my weight's on one butt cheek. That way my ass crack gets spread apart. That way you can efficiently wipe. Like really get in there.
So
if
do you
have to.
do you prefer to lean to your left or to your right?
Oh, you guys don't.
to my left?
To your
With my
left.
dominant right hand, then I wipe.
Yeah, and it always sucks because I'm a really bad wiper with the left, and if I like cut my hand or something, I have to go left. And
I do.
Oh, it sucks.
I do prefer after you use the regular paper. I love bathrooms that have baby wipes on the back of the toilet.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's a good, yeah. Now, see, during our last party, more than one person in attendance during this conversation were talking about how they just spread their legs apart and wipe their ass through their legs. I'm like,
What?
I would never do that because not only do you have to wash your hands after that, you have to wash your whole forearm because your nuts and dick are all over your hand.
yeah, right?
Exactly.
And it's in the way, too, so you can't wipe efficiently.
That's also
So now you have a dirty ass
think
hand,
that's just
and
illegal.
you...
Here's a serious life choice. Has anybody used a bidet before?
I have
Never.
not, but I would
not.
not be opposed to it.
I was tempted to. I've seen a few in Europe. Like
I just
said
don't
before.
understand how it works. Like, how is that really cleaning more?
Power washers are really good at cleaning.
Is it is it power washing
Yes.
though?
Yeah, it's
It's enough.
It's not just like
pressure
a water
that if
fountain?
nobody's on it, it goes like 2 feet in the air.
No way.
Yes. Oh yeah. Actually, this is such a polarizing subject. I've made it a divided by zero scouts merit badge. Let us know. Let us know how you wipe. Illustrations or
I looked at those
detailed
merit
descriptions.
badges, and I'm thinking about tackling most of them.
Do it.
You may be the winner of our grand prize this season.
If you're able
Which
to
is
do
what, a spanking by each of you?
No, you get to come on the show.
with her dominant right hands.
if you complete all the ones that apply to you, then
Ooh.
Mr. Masters has a hookup for a great prize.
Great prize.
I have a new.
I like the
merit
idea of a
badge.
hookup. As long as it's not with him.
We'll bring the Vicks Vapor Rub.
Yeah.
I have a new merit badge idea. We started playing this game when we go out to restaurants. We call it card roulette, and we put all of our credit cards into the check presenter at the end, and we tell the waitress to pick one. So far, Jim has lost twice. Nobody else has lost.
That's how
one.
rich people go to dinner.
That's fun.
I can't do that.
Speaking of reasonable,
So I just got back from a trip to the City of Angels. Mm-hmm. I had some
Was
great.
that Cleveland?
That's Cleveland, Ohio. Yep, lots of angels there.
it sounds like you went to Mexico where all the guys are named Angel.
Yeah, actually, all the guys in LA are named Angel.
He actually went to that Nicolas Cage movie.
So the first thing I noticed when I got on the plane, they offered me the upgrade to first class, which on a 737 really isn't first class at all. But I was
gotta go
like,
business.
it's only $30 extra. Fuck it, let's go for it. So I upgraded to first class, and I sit down, and of course, directly behind me are two small children.
Oh, your favorite.
One of which is crying the entire flight.
That's a long time.
And I'm thinking to myself, what is the point of first class if you have to deal with that? Like, there should be a rule, no children under the age of, like, 18
Either
in
that or
first class.
like murder's legal
Or that.
because you're paying all that extra money.
Yeah, they should have like those little poop bags, but only for your child's head, where you just
Come here, you little shit.
silence them.
But I do enjoy U.S. Airways. I think they are quite pleasant and very accommodating, and their staff is awesome. And on my way home, there was a woman who was freaking out the whole flight, thinking it's going to crash. And I was really hoping that it would, just that she would get what's coming to her. But she made a comment that struck me. And I was like, I have to write a note on this because I can't believe someone would actually say that. And she says to the woman sitting next to her, "Oh, but cancer is worse than flying."
Oh, it depends. Is it skin cancer? Or...
And I'm like, yeah? Like, what? How? I can't even process that thought.
Of course, cancer's worse.
How could you compare the two?
Reminds me of that Lewis.
Like, one is an efficient and safe means of transportation, and the other is a shitty way to die.
Cancer and oranges.
You get five times more radiation exposure flying a plane than you do living next to a nuclear power plant.
Flying or riding in one?
Being in a plane.
Yeah, really? Mm-hmm. 5 times? Why is there radiation on a plane?
The sun.
Oh, just because you're
atmosphere.
3,500 feet or whatever.
If it wasn't for that horse, I'd never have gone to college. That loose black bit.
I was trying to write a story to tell on a podcast because I came up with a good idea, and I can't text very well while driving because I have that touch screen now.
Yeah.
So I'm using the voice to text feature, but my radio is also blaring. So like, I thought I wrote a nice story, and when I got home, like I'm reading it, and just halfway through, it's just like, girls, 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 and then like just like all these lyrics.
Why are
like,
you listening to Molly Crew?
Why not?
I lost my iPod, so I've been listening to the radio on the way home.
Did you save that note? Because I'd love to hear it. In the way it dictated.
During the next podcast, when I'm telling my celebrity story, I have to fix it to edit
So
all
you
that.
mean last week?
Yeah, that was on my phone. Oh, I can't wait to hear it.
So while I was in LA, two of my dreams came true.
One of them, I knew you wanted to hang out with some lady.
Yes.
And that's all
Yes.
I know.
She is a woman that I have been referring to for the last 4 years as Dream Girl.
Beyonce.
Beyonce Knowles. No.
She's in that movie?
She's not in that movie. No.
Is Beyonce in that movie, Dreamgirls?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I thought it was...
Oh, isn't that it's an American
I'm
Idol.
rusty on my Beyonce
Never mind.
knowledge. I don't remember.
I don't know shit about pop culture. Go ahead.
But I refer to this girl as Dream Girl, and I've been pining for her for years. And since I've known her, she's had a boyfriend, so there's never been ample opportunity to make a move. At least in my opinion, I wasn't gonna be that guy to just be like, fuck it, you got a boyfriend, I'm gonna get on that anyway. So finally, now that she's living out in LA, and I was visiting LA, and she's no longer with anyone, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do everything I can. I'm gonna make this happen.
I bought a 36-pack of condoms.
Bury your flag in her.
So
You wear it like a sash.
we go out for her birthday, and we go to some ritzy little downtown Los Angeles bar that's overpriced, and everyone's wearing fancy shit, and I think everyone in the place was high on some kind of drugs.
So
But,
you were in LA.
I'm in LA. Yes. She wasn't feeling too good, so we didn't stick around at that place for long. We ended up going back to her apartment and watching Napoleon Dynamite.
Great movie.
Ooh, perfect segue to sex.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
in the mood.
You can feel it between Napoleon and Deb.
So we start doing the whole like cuddle holding thing, and she falls right asleep. That was the end of the night.
So,
So I just held her all night.
Sleepy time means yes.
missed a perfect date rape opportunity.
Just laying the groundwork for next time.
But it was lovely,
That's great.
and I felt really good waking up the next morning.
That's
Great.
cute.
Good story.
And then I went to like a clear forest meadow, and then like just waited still
So
until
I
a bunch of
watched-
butterflies landed on me.
So I watched the behind the scenes of Napoleon Dynamite.
And then I watched the DVD menu 40 times in a row.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you ejaculate all 36 condoms? Just
I
No,
didn't
it's
want
just-
to waste them.
It's like a same 30-second loop of that Jamiroquai song.
I also broke into the set of Sons of Anarchy.
great.
Nice.
We went up to the lot where they have the garage and the clubhouse.
Yeah.
And because they just finished the last season, nothing was going on, so it was all gated up, and there was no production happening.
And you broke into it.
So I jumped the fence and kind of walked around and was hanging out. And
you got pictures of this.
I don't have pictures. The individual that I was with does, because my Android phone has the shittiest camera on it that exists. So
because you certainly cannot brag something like that
Yeah.
without having some kind of photo proof.
you-
they will be in the show notes for this episode.
That's a
Did
promise.
you punch your stepfather in the face while you were there?
No, I did
Seems like
not.
something you should do there.
No. I'm trying to figure out who my stepfather is.
Did you have sex with a porn star there?
No.
Oh, porn star.
Come on. Those
Did
are the
you-
things that have to be done.
Did you hide guns?
Yes, yes.
What else did they do in that show?
I don't know. I don't.
They
watch
get
it.
attacked by movie
great show.
monsters
I did
like
think about-
every year.
I was just wearing a regular button-down shirt and jeans, so I didn't have a whole lot of stuff with me. But I was really considering like ripping off the arm of my shirt and tying it to the fence just to see if it would still be there next season. And I could
just
be like, "Oh, there's my
chilling in the
shirt."
background?
Yeah, but
Very cool.
I did not.
I find the more and more I learn, like hear interviews with the more badass people like in cinema, like Ron Perlman, the more cuddly teddy bears they are. Like Ron Perlman is like the nicest guy,
Yeah.
He's a huge sweetie.
and Johnny Trejo is like he does charity all the time.
Yeah. He's an upstanding citizen.
Old people need to get a sense of humor.
Yes.
I was at a Christmas party at the home that my grandmother lives in.
You put your grandmother in a home?
I didn't.
Oh wait.
I did.
You're gonna have to stop.
Okay.
Because I have a story that perfectly segues into this that I could have segued perfectly into it, but I didn't.
So instead of segueing from your story into his, he wants to cut you off,
Yeah.
tell his story.
I get
and
it.
segue
I get it.
into
Yeah,
yours.
is that
The
okay?
creator of the Segway died by driving a Segway off a cliff.
That is true.
That is true.
That's not true.
So-
it is the owner of the company, not the creator.
Okay. so
right.
Oh.
Dean Kamen was the.
I find that the more badass people. The other day I was in line and I overheard two like really badass biker guys like having a conversation, and they were talking about some biker reality TV show. And one of them was like, "Man, I really like Jesse James, but he went with the chrome handlebars on his motorcycle, and it's too shiny, man." He's like, "I don't know, it looked really cool, especially when you're driving it, you know, the light reflected off of it." I'm like, "You're the gayest bikers."
They could have been.
I don't think Jesse James is even on TV anymore.
Well, that's
I
what
have
they
no
were
idea.
saying. That was the only name that I could recognize, and I think it's because it wasn't he like an old West guy, and now he's like a biker. Or
He's actually related to him.
oh,
No
I think
way.
you're
Wes-
talking
he
about
is.
the original Jesse James and the guy that's on TV now.
West Coast Shoppers is not a company anymore. They don't make bikes.
I have no idea.
oh, that's another thing that they're talking
So
about.
get it right.
They're talking about another reality TV show, and they're like, "Well, I'd like it more, but they make more cars now than they make bikes." And it's like, "I like bikes more."
I wonder if that was the Orange County Choppers.
I don't know.
Maybe it was Monster Garage.
Could have been. Is that show? I don't think that show's even
No,
on
it's
the
not.
air either.
It hasn't been forever.
Speaking of nursing homes,
Thanks. Great segue.
Wow.
We're being judged as we go. Remember, he's got the experience. But they were serving wine at this party. I asked my daughter if she wanted some.
Some wine.
Because you're a good dad.
Because I'm a good dad. And my grandmother's friend who was there, she's like, "Oh, you don't really give wine to your kid, do you?" I was like, "Oh, nothing's better than a drunk kid." And then she like laughed uncomfortably and she goes, "You're joking, right?" Yes, of course I'm joking.
It's more natural than Benadryl.
It is better than Benadryl probably for you.
speaking, she was like an old woman. Didn't they used to like pour whiskey?
Yes,
down
yes.
babies'
Oh, you have a
necks?
tooth growing in? Here's whiskey.
Right.
Oh, you can't sleep? Here's some scotch.
Need your appendix removed? Here's cocaine.
They're prostitutes now.
Yep. And they're dying of toxic blood syndrome.
But now that she's 8, I'll be doing that.
Right.
Yeah. As of today, yesterday?
Today, actually. Or, I'm sorry, yesterday. The party was today.
Okay.
I'm confusing
I left right when she was opening presents. I don't know.
I left right after.
Is she, what is she getting for her birthday?
Littlest pet shop stuff. We got her. outfits.
Ooh.
We were lame.
Clothes for your birthday.
Clothes. She loved them.
She's pretending.
Just like she's
Easy
pretending she
bake or
loves
something
you.
they can do.
Christmas is in 4 days.
I find myself
getting all of that
wondering.
then.
So her birthday is going to suck forever because she's going to get
of
like the
course.
lamest gifts.
We usually try and put a little bigger buffer, actually. So it is usually a little more well-defined. We got to it late this year.
I feel like as a child, I was really good at faking excitement about gifts because you don't want to seem ungrateful, but like your grandma gets you the same magic kit every year for Christmas, and you, as a kid, you think you're doing a really convincing job of being like, "Oh, thanks, grandma, this is awesome." And nowadays, I wonder, like, did I really look as disappointed as these kids look when they're opening their gifts?
Probably did.
I think because I was really bad at it, and because like I remember I got in trouble was because my aunt got me this Nerf gun, and I was like, "Oh, my friend Nick just got me the same thing. Now I have two. That's cool." I got in trouble for that.
Well, she got something she already had. She got 2 more of today, and every time she opened, I already have this. Like not even attempting. It's like you can at least say thanks.
Was it like aunts getting her the same?
No,
little
this was
pet shop?
friends.
Oh, friends. They don't know any better.
No, I guess not.
She
That
probably
now
doesn't
late.
have any real friends.
Well, why would she?
You have to learn as you grow up that you give one list of like 3 or 4 items to this person and another list to another person.
These
That way
were-
you don't get doubles.
These were mostly they just asked for like a genre of thing, and I said, well, she's into this, and then they all picked the same thing.
Because their parents were buying it for their kid. Yeah.
course.
I learned at a young age that don't make your Christmas list too big. Because my parents were always like, well, that's all you want? Like, put some more options on there. And I'm like, okay, if you say so. And I'd give them like a 3-page list. And they'd get me all the things that I wanted the least. And I'm like, why would I? Like, what is the point of making such a big ass
These
list?
were all the cheap ones. Fuck you.
Like nowadays, when my family asks me for like Christmas gifts, I like barely put any thought to it because it used to be where I would put down one thing that I really wanted, like I want a cat. And then like my older sister would get it for Christmas, or I want a TV for my room, and literally all of my siblings would get TVs except for me, and I'm not even shitting you.
They just mixed up your list.
Nope.
So get that one Star Wars action.
So
figure.
like it wasn't an issue of like pretending to be grateful. It was an issue of like trying not to cry when I was a kid at Christmas.
Is that how your brother ended up with so many guitars?
At least one of them, yes. At least one of them. I'm not even kidding, too.
Oh.
So everyone remembers the bomb that is the John Carter movie,
Yep.
No.
the John Carter of Mars, where he goes to Mars and
Oh, was Willem Dafoe played one of the alien
I think he was a
creatures?
villain or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
I never saw it, but
it's like
I
a
remember it.
record-breaking flop or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
That guy will do any movie.
Willem
He
Dafoe?
really will, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see it either, but I did see a billboard that had some imagery from the movie, and then it had a picture of a kid reading a book, and it said, "Read and discover new worlds." But it was a picture from the movie. Now, I know it's based on a book, but they're just like trying to backdoor it in there. And it was like one of the Martians, and they have like this big like dinosaur thing that they ride, so it looks super cool.
Well, speaking of which,
Books
I heard
are so cool; they're almost like movies.
I heard you guys went and read The Hobbit recently.
Yeah.
I read it years ago.
I accidentally read it 3 times in one day.
Yeah?
It was a short book. I was listening to it on tape. So when I was working, I didn't want to go into my phone to reset the story or find a different book, so it just kept looping. It's a really short book, like an hour and a half to read. So
I was actually joking about seeing the movie, but calling it reading because of that billboard.
oh, okay.
oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, I actually read it. I saw the movie too.
How was it? That's what I'm asking.
Oh, it's really good. But I don't suggest reading the book before you go see it.
Oh.
Because there are some things that might upset you. So you probably just want to enjoy the movie and just go see it.
Things about the movie would upset me if I was anticipating it from the book.
Yeah, if you read the book, they probably like a lot more insights into the dwarf characters that are really cool. And in the movie, they make a lot of them really dumb.
Make them like the 7 dwarfs.
Yeah, like one of them is Gimli's father and then like his cousin. And they messed up the continuation of it. Like one of them's not his father anymore somehow. Yeah, and they just sort of messed up a lot of the canon.
Damn you, Peter Jackson.
being somebody's father.
I don't know. You'll have to ask Peter Jackson.
Yeah, it's Peter Jackson.
He has the key.
Or next time we have a black person on the show.
Yeah.
And with that, let's take a break.
Okay.
This podcast is part of the Bobo Broadcasting Network. For this and other great shows, head to bobobroadcasting.com.
Makes me thirsty for that.
That's like high school get your girlfriend tipsy kind of drink.
That's it. I don't know what it was doing down here, but I'm going to drink it.
Hey.
Andy's been known to drink the things that shouldn't be drank. This is what he was drinking a couple weeks ago.
Warm piss from a mountain goat.
Yeah, that was woo.
Oh, what the hell is it? Clamato?
And
In
Bud Light.
beer.
That sounds like something you need penicillin for.
Yeah. I got a bad case.
Clam and tomato.
And beer.
No,
And beer.
that's not good.
The Chelada.
That is a triple
We
threat
took
right
a video of Jay doing a shot of it and he almost threw up.
there. But he doesn't like fruits or vegetables.
That's true. He also doesn't like seafood.
So
He only likes fruit snacks, pasta, and steak.
for Thanksgiving, when they came to my house,
Yeah.
you know, I had the whole spread. And I had a whole box of like fruit snacks that I gave him in case he didn't like what I made. It's like, dude, you don't like asparagus, you don't like stuffing. Here's a box of fruit snacks. I can't believe you would even try that Clamato beer.
Well, I find myself having to prove myself that I prove to everyone that I don't like things because it's always such a constant topic.
It's also really fun to watch you try them.
yeah, this is a constant thing in my life where I have to tell people that I don't like things and prove that I don't like things because nobody believes me.
So how do you prove that you don't like things?
I try it for them and then
Do you like throw up on their shoes or
and then I'd be like, I hate this. They're like, well, you just probably haven't had it since you were a kid. I'm like, no, I haven't had it since I was a kid, and I've hated it. It's just a really long conversation I had to have like 3 or 4 times a month.
people don't believe you that you don't like stuff?
Yeah. Well, he dislikes so much that it's like
He does.
improbable.
He dislikes so many things.
It's not that many
But-
things. It's just only vegetables.
That's like a third of food.
And I like a few vegetables. Carrots,
There's meat, there's
corn,
fruits, there's vegetables. What else is there?
potatoes if they still
Dairy.
counted.
Oh, you're right.
I like all dairy.
All dairy?
Most dairy.
Okay.
Yeah, you're a big dairy freak.
Yeah, I'm
What dairy don't you like?
He really gets off on milk.
I've never had goat cheese.
Feta?
Really?
I've
Feta
had
cheese?
feta, like feta.
Feta's goat cheese.
Oh, is it?
It is.
Oh, all right. Well, then I like goat
MSU's
cheese.
campus, Bell's Pizza. That's all they use is goat cheese.
I mean, I'm
It's
not like
fantastic.
I'm not like super into it, but it's all right.
I only get off on
I like
cheese.
I like most cheese. I hate blue cheese.
Oh, that's
I
nasty.
also dislike blue cheese.
Microwave blue cheese is the worst thing.
Microwave?
Yeah, they used to microwave. Don't ever get blue cheese on your steak at Outback because A, you're making
no.
everybody in the back upset with you, and B, they microwave it on top of it.
Just to melt it a little.
You worked at Outback?
Yeah, for like 5 years.
I hate Outback.
It's so good.
I worked for a radio station for a short time, and our Christmas party was at Outback, and we went there, and my fucking steak tasted like shoe leather. The only thing I ever liked was the bloomin' onion.
Oh, that's so good.
I know, right?
Tasty.
So, like 20 years later, I'm in Vegas, and my wife wants to go to Outback, and I said, if we go there, I'm only getting the bloomin' onion. She goes, that's exactly what I wanted, and I don't know anybody who doesn't like that thing.
It's impossible.
I hate
But there are
onions,
so
and
many
I love
people
it.
that don't like the steaks at Outback.
They're so delicious. I don't know why.
The last time I got a steak there, it was the worst cut of meat. It was not a New York strip of what I got. Yeah. There was like silver skin in the middle of it.
I've never had a bad experience. with
Yeah,
that.
I have nothing but
and I
great
worked there
stories
for
about
5
Outback.
years.
I love Texas Roadhouse.
And normally people
See,
hate
now
food.
I can't stand Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah, there's all that meat
Now,
in
granted,
there.
I haven't eaten there in a long time, but the last time I had a steak at Texas Roadhouse, it tasted of nothing but salt.
Oh, I eat the ribs. I don't even get a steak.
I like
Their
Texas
ribs there are
Roadhouse
really
too.
good.
The main attraction to Outback that I like is their seasoning. It's so good.
What is it?
It's 17 different types of peppers and 7 other mystery seasonings.
Really?
I
Is
don't
there
even
any
know.
one person who knows exactly what the makeup
I
is?
think there's 4 people that know, from what I remember.
I think the creator of Segway took it to his grave.
How do they keep that a secret? Does it come in like 2 different bags and then you got to mix it in the store? And...
No, they mix it and then they come in indiscriminate white plastic bags.
But someone's working on that factory and knows exactly what is being sent
I'm sure if
into
you
these
Google
bags.
it, you'll find it.
I mean, that was just what I was told by my manager. So I don't know.
Like I found the
Notorious
recipe.
for fucking with people.
I did actually do some research and try to figure it out because I like it so much and I have no way of getting it anymore. But
You could just go to Outback.
go eat at Outback. I can do that. But I used to put it on everything because I used to steal it.
Oh,
We've come beyond those days.
Yeah.
Now you have what's that shit? Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal steak.
Montreal
seasoning,
steak.
which
That's
is
good.
very good. It's
That
very
is real
good.
good.
But it's still second to Outback seasoning.
I always liked the Man's Mac.
We used to like at the end of the night they throw away the prime rib because they make it fresh every day. So sometimes we get like
3 pounds
3
of-
pounds of prime rib. And
Really?
I take that home and like he used to live off those mashed potatoes. They throw out the garlic mashed potatoes every day too.
Oh,
so
so
and
good.
then I just take that with the seasoning. We just like all have a party in my
Jay
house.
brought once. It must have literally been 5 pounds of garlic mashed potatoes. And I was in heaven. I'm like,
You lived off
yes!
it. You made it last for so long too.
Like at the end of the night, if I'm closing, I just tell all the chefs like, "Hey, my son needs to eat." Put everything in these.
Those were happier days.
Yeah, I'm still pretty happy.
I think I still make mashed potatoes there.
I think we need to go to Outback sometime this week.
ASAP, yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
All right.
Christmas morning.
Are they open?
Huh?
Are they open on Christmas?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
I could probably do
Only like
Thursday.
Thai food places are open and like
Yeah.
places that serve shawarma.
And Jewish places.
You know what? I had chicken shawarma from Bucharest, downtown Detroit.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic.
All right.
I don't think I've ever had bad shawarma. It's so hard to fuck up. Like it's just delicious always.
Yeah, even
It
if the
is.
chicken is super dry, you can just put that sauce on it. And
Yeah, I
it's-
just kind of like it dry.
I'd never had shawarma.
But see, that's the thing. You got to
I think
make
you
that
might actually.
sauce. And for Thanksgiving, I actually roasted my own head of garlic. It was great. Now I
was
know how
that
to make
place?
that sauce. What?
Where was that place?
Bucharest. Right across from Comerica Park.
Usually, we don't celebrate Christmas in my family on Christmas Day. We'll do it like Saturday after or whatever. And the same thing is with Tito's family. So totally unannounced, like every other Christmas, Tito will show up on Christmas morning and wake me up and be like, "Let's go find food." So we just drive around the empty city looking for a place that's still open that we can eat at. So I guess I'll have to keep that in mind.
Bucharest, right downtown, right across. You know, if you were to stand at the it's not the front entrance to Comerica Park.
Where the big tiger statue is.
Yeah, it's if you're looking at those tiger statues and you look to the left, the next entrance, there's Chelly's.
Okay, yeah.
You
I know
look
where
down that
is.
street. Bucharest is right down that street, and they have. I'm telling you, they open at 11. By noon, there's like 30 people standing in line waiting for their food.
I wonder what the crime rate in Detroit is around, like on
High.
Christmas Day.
It's high.
No, the day of Christmas.
The day of Christmas,
It doesn't matter.
Like, how
what
many
day.
mugigs are on Christmas morning?
there's nobody
it's
in
gotta
be at
Detroit
least
on
a couple.
I think
Christmas.
it means in comparison to other days.
There's like 100% crime.
4th of July would be more relevant because there's already gunshots going off in the air.
That sounds
you
like
can
a
kill
joke of,
somebody and no
No,
one
I just
will
want to
hear
know what I'm
anything.
getting into. I have to go into downtown Detroit on Christmas morning to get food. I don't know if there's gonna be like a Santa like waiting for me, like just to drive through some intersection at a red light,
give
Oh,
me
yeah.
a Christmas present, bitch.
Oh gosh.
take all my cats and TVs.
Cats and TVs.
So what are we doing right now?
I think we're going to talk about ghost hunting.
Oh yes,
Are we gonna bullet point or?
That's what I was waiting for. But we are having a good conversation, so I didn't interrupt it.
Hey,
Well, we also
You're having
didn't do
fun,
like
you're
any
having fun.
introductions or anything. We didn't introduce him at all.
No.
we
not
haven't
at all.
even come back from break yet.
Oh,
We've just been talking.
I'm guessing 3 people here don't even know my name. So that's okay. We'll do introductions.
guess-
one of them strangely
Mike.
is me.
Mr. Cassie's dad.
You know her last name.
That's right.
Do you?
Yeah, but
Probably not.
you don't want to assume that someone has the same name as their parent.
Why not?
I'm going to assume it.
I don't have the same last name as my parents.
Am I wearing the same shirt? Yeah.
All right, there you are.
Die.
Core division.
Core division.
Die paintball.
Oh, okay.
I wish I created that.
I thought you were like a personal trainer and you were working on people's cores.
You know what? That would have been very intuitive.
I really
but-
shouldn't have gotten into that.
Yeah, I didn't get into that.
Anything else?
Oh, that might do it.
I think so.
Or like you put like what constitutes a ghost or what are ghosts exactly? Yeah.
Oh, that's a very, very in-depth question.
Yeah.
Do they actually leave jizz all over the place?
You mean ectoplasm?
Oh, yeah.
Because they're just fucking in midair.
He's thinking they're like porn ghosts.
They might be.
Is there another toy around?
They're dead. Who's getting
Has it,
pregnant?
what was
What was that David Cross joke? That
No,
porno
who's-
that he watched, My Ass is Haunted.
who was that blonde woman who married the old guy and got his money and then the family sued her?
Jenny.
And then
No,
she
it wasn't
died. Now
And
her
then she
daughter.
died.
Anna Nicole Smith.
Yeah, Anna Nicole Smith. Yeah.
She claims that she was raped by a ghost.
What?
I'm serious.
No way.
Yes.
And
she
that's where her
claims it.
child came from?
She was
or-
crazy.
No, she just says that one night she was sleeping
Oh, it
and
happened. Okay.
a ghost held her down and forcibly raped her.
That sounds very similar to Old Hag.
In American Horror Story, they can rape you and you can get pregnant by it.
I heard that there was aborted babies in American Horror Story.
Yeah, they have a lot of. Oh, I already told this before, but they have very pro-life or pro-choice stab at it.
Are you sure you told this?
I think so.
I think you just told us.
Oh, really? No, when one of their babies is born stillborn, and then they're like, "How come there's not a ghost? How come there's a ghost of that?" It came out dead. It's like, oh, well,
It had one breath.
It cried once and then died. Like, oh, so life starts at then.
I just changed my phone wallpaper to a zombie aborted fetus from the comic Arsenic Lullabies.
Nice.
There's
I was
this
gonna say,
character.
where do you find something like that?
There's this character.
There's an app for it.
There's this character, Voodoo Joe. Has
We
the
have an
ability-
app for that.
He has the ability to make zombies, and he had like regular human zombies, but they were too much upkeep. So now he just goes to the abortion clinic and rises them out of the dumpster behind the store.
So, do those aborted fetuses grow up to be zombies and they hunt down the parents who aborted them?
No, they just stay zombies.
Because that could be a TV show.
But do they stay
I'm-
babies or do they
They
grow?
stay, they stay fetuses.
Oh, okay.
And on multiple occasions, he's had them like as because anyway, a stipulation of his curse is he always has to be exacting revenge, and he's exacted all of his, so he has a business where he does it for other people now. And so, multiple times with the fetuses, he's gotten like ex-girlfriends pregnant with the zombie fetus.
Like they just crawl up
Yeah,
in
it
there
just
and
crawls
pretend
right
to be
inside. Yeah,
babies.
yeah.
Would they'd be more like a swarm type of
Well, he only gets a few at a
Creature.
time.
If they make a movie
Really?
of it, it should be normal.
how effective could little babies be?
They suit his purposes.
Okay.
Anyway,
That scares me.
it's really funny.
All right.
You want to introduce
I don't scare easy.
our guest, Tyler, since you know him?
Yeah, no, that'd be fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Are we using your full name?
Yeah.
This is Chad Dye.
What's his middle name?
Michael.
No.
So
Alan.
I was confident though.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Not anymore. It
Second
isn't.
name, that's fine.
What's my middle name?
Alan.
With confidence like that, it is now.
Kevin likes to party.
What you're part of a paranormal investigation group, right?
I am.
And what group would that be?
That is Erie Shores Paranormal. And it originally started a number of years ago as a different group, and they fell apart. And 3 of the members came back together to reform a new group.
Sounds like a band.
It sounds like Ghostbusters 3.
Right.
It is a
could
joke,
be.
right?
What?
eerie? Like, ooh, these shores are eerie.
No. If you go downriver,
Yeah.
okay, there's Erie,
Lake Erie.
Lake Erie,
Yeah.
right? So it's like Erie Shores Paranormal.
Okay.
So it's the double meaning.
So it was an
Double meaning.
unintentional, like,
Well, they didn't just fall upon it. They
Okay.
thought about it before they came up with the name.
It was
it's very fitting for the
It is kind of eerie.
yeah.
Right.
Because
So
of the
three of the
ghosts.
members came together and reformed a new group and started from there. And basically, it's a not-for-profit organization that scientifically looks into claims of the paranormal.
All right.
So is it, how similar is it to like Ghost Hunters, like, or the what's the Haunted Travel? There's one on the Travel Channel too, but I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of TV shows about
Yeah,
ghosts. Ghost Hunters, there's Ghost Adventures, and a lot of people think that those shows are fake and they don't like one character or another, and
They do
that's
very
fine.
much make it a character show. So I mean, it's
Well, it
understandable
is
that someone-
TV.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
it's
did
not
they ever
about the
find
science.
it. Honestly, that's the things that I don't get about those shows. Like, I don't watch them, but like those Finding Sasquatch and like ghost shows and all those.
They're
like,
still looking.
for Loch Ness monster. Like, did they ever find anything? Like, what's the point of them?
Well, the thing is with like finding Bigfoot, they're out there looking for something they say they've seen, but they have no video proof. With Ghost Adventures and Ghost Hunters, they do get proof. You do see some proof. You see a couple of people in a building and they hear these weird sounds and nobody else is there, and they can videotape or catch on audio voices, banging, things that happen.
How does that constitute as proof?
It's not necessarily proof, but it is evidence.
Okay.
And the evidence, most times, if they're a reputable group, will be very scrutinized. Could it be something other than paranormal? And that's what our group does.
How big is the community? Like, does your evidence stay within the group, or do you guys send it to everybody who you are affiliated with, so they can look at it and verify it for themselves?
The group that I'm associated with, Erie Shores Paranormal, we go over our evidence. We listen to the audio. We watch the video. All of that, and we get together and we look at it. Everybody scrutinizes it, and then we bring it to the client, the person who asked us to come there, and they look at it, they listen to it, whatever it is, and from there they determine whether or not they think their home is haunted or if it's something that they need to do about it.
Okay, so this is,
But we don't put it out to a bunch of other people.
So it's not like royal evidence where, say they discover how to replicate cells in a lab or something, and then they'll send that off to other people to see if they can do it.
No.
So like they don't see your evidence and like, oh, that could be this. Like you don't get feedback.
No, there is no central database where people send their information. They get scrutinized by scientists or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I guess other paranormal investigation groups would be who I would send it to. I think I'd want, because they obviously have the most experience looking for that. If you send it to someone who is like working for a university or something, they won't even look at it, I'm sure.
The best people to send your information to is people who work in the field of that particular medium. If you get something that's audible, take it to somebody who deals with audio recordings, and they can tell you whether or not it's been faked, whether or not it's something that has come from outside of the area you were in. They could tell you if it's an intelligent haunt, whether or not it's residual. If you have video experts can look at the video and say, okay, this has been tampered with, this is fake, or we have no explanation for how this happened.
Yeah, we just can't dream up how you would possibly pull this off if you were trying.
Other groups may look at it and go, oh, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. But they're not experts.
Okay, so you think that like other groups would just be so reactive to it, like not scrutinous, like scrutinizing
there's so many different ideas and opinions out there. Some people base their stuff on science, some base it on religion. Some base it on like pagan ritualistic stuff.
That's pretty big.
Everybody, I know. I would think that everybody that's into the paranormal investigating would look at it with a regular person's mind. Can you explain it away, or can you not explain it at all?
And the end game is just to find proof.
The end game is, look at what I found. Somebody please explain it to me because I was there. I can't understand it. Please tell me what it is.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I got the 3 phone call in a row.
What do you do? Oh, you better do that. We can keep it up with that.
You mentioned earlier about intelligent haunt and residual. What's the
Yes.
difference between those?
The difference between intelligent and residual would be residual. The opinion is that something significant happens, say, in the 1800s, and the atmosphere or the home, the building, records that. Okay. And that, whether it's a scream, whether it's a knock, whatever it is, it just happens whenever the atmospheric conditions, the moon phase, whenever that happened, when those conditions are 100% exact, it'll happen again. An intelligent haunt would be where I set up, 3 flashlights and say, is there anybody here? And one of those flashlights turns on.
So it's reactive to you.
It's reactive. They react with every question that we ask. There's an intelligent answer of some sort, whether it's audio, whether it's visual.
Have you experienced that before?
I have not. I may actually be our group's jinx because I'm a skeptic.
I'm like that every time I go fishing. Nobody ever catches fish when we go fishing.
Does that mean that there are no fish?
They absolutely.
They're
means there's no
residual fish. They're just reenacting the Battle of Gettysburg over and over again through history.
Yeah, there is fishes in costumes.
When I went to California, we attended a haunted ship tour of the Queen Mary, which is a World War II era transport ship that just happened to be where all these hideous random accidents happened, like people getting dismembered or getting what do they call it, key hauled under the ship, and just completely unexplainable accidents, just tons of them. And they took us to the big boiler room area, and they did that flashlight test where they unscrewed the cap as much as they could to where it would just turn off, set up in the middle of the room, and we all took turns asking questions, and the light would turn on in time, would wait for us to finish speaking and then turn on 1 yes and 2 for no.
You're on a boat, right?
Yeah.
Boats move.
No. This boat is welded to the dock. It does not move.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is a
That would
tourist
be
attraction?
fine too, but it would wait for us to finish our questions, and it's not like we all had to wait for
But it's a tourist attraction.
yeah. I don't believe in ghosts either. I just thought it was really fucking weird. And we all got to play with the flashlight afterwards. Some random person would just be holding it for the rest of the tour in dark areas. It was a normal flashlight.
Now, on that note, though, Shawman has a series of photographs from inside one of the galleys, and the way that he was taking pictures that day was very click, 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 click,
Yeah.
click. And there is a set of pictures from inside one of these galleys
Yep.
where you see some type of shadow move across the frame. And no one knows what it is. No one is saying that it is a ghost, but it certainly is difficult to
If there's
explain.
other people there, it's so hard to tell what it.
No,
could have been.
we saw that right after he took the photo, and we were all shitting ourselves. And we investigated when we were there. There's no way anybody in our group could have cast a shadow up into the rafters where where the photo was actually taken. And I don't believe in ghosts either. It's just I definitely saw that in the photo.
Didn't you have a recent story though?
Yeah.
Recent ghost story.
More recently, I came home, and my girlfriend said that somebody, while she was taking a nap or trying to take a nap, opened the door to our room and then slammed the door shut. And I'm making fun of her, of course. And
Like a dutiful boyfriend.
yeah, I said somebody probably just turned on the attic fan and it changed the pressure in the house, because that happens all the time. If we turn on the attic fan, the back door will just fly open, or if we turn it back off, it will just slam shut again. It's not that unusual. But nobody turned on the attic fan, she says. And the only person that was home was Cassie, who was in the basement the entire time. So I just continue to make fun of her, and I even reference the Paranormal Activity movie. I say, I'm going to be the dickhead who challenges the ghost to a fight and then get my ass murdered. And
then you go on, and then you kick the ass of the ghost in the afterlife.
Yeah.
Thanks for bringing me to your level, bitch.
Got you right where I need you. I proceeded to call this ghost a dirty cunt. And then my favorite action figure that I have on a shelf in my room underneath a glass case moved before my eyes, like deliberately slid off the shelf, like slowly and deliberately.
See,
like somebody had a finger just pushing it off confidently.
That's the pussiest ghost. Like, you called me a cunt, I'm going to slightly knock over one of you.
I would have told
no,
your
it was my
entire bookcase
favorite
down.
action figure, though.
Yeah, the
and like in a
pussiest
shrine.
The gayest ghost, like, nah, I don't like your action figure.
Oh, I'm a cunt, huh?
Keep calling me a cunt, I'm going to slam the door on you again.
Obviously saw this happen, so I mean, there's some explanation.
Yeah, he was probably just being a pussy.
So you watched this happen.
Yes.
In this house.
See
That
this-
intrigues me.
I have another ghost thing that happened in this house.
Mm-hmm.
Inside the freezer, there's this lever to turn on and off the ice machine, and it's not connected to the water, but somehow it always gets turned on,
Oh, it
and it
always
makes
does.
this creaky noise, and I don't know how it happened. Mostly probably because Nicholas puts his ice cream back in there weird and knocks it back up.
You know, every
But
time I'm in your freezer, I look at that and I wonder, why is this turned on? There is no water supply
it's
to this
some-
freezer.
The ghost wants ice.
It's making ghost ice.
It doesn't understand general plumbing.
No, I have a story similar to Alabama's, which is a house that I used to live on, I guess somewhat in this neighborhood when I was living in the northern portion of Westland. And things like this have happened in my family for years and years, but they seem to follow my mother, who I'm no longer in contact with, so they've stopped for me. But in this house, it was very common that if you approached a room, the door would open, and you could walk into the room, and then the door would close behind you.
He lived on the Star Trek.
Right, the Enterprise.
Blah, blah, blah.
But the most inexplicable moment for me while living in that house, I had an old stereo receiver, like old ass one, that had one of those rotational dials that you would use to change the radio station. And I've been inside the workings of this stereo. It literally is like a dial with a band around it that goes all the way to the other side. So it's strictly mechanical. There's no tension. It's you turn the knob, it adjusts the other side. And one of the days while I was sitting there listening to the radio actively, because as a young high schooler I could find much enjoyment in just doing nothing but listening to music, and I watched the little dial go all the way across to the end of the radio and then just keep like trying to tune further than it could go. And I'm like, holy shit, that is weird.
Well, that's
You
what you
could
get for
also
listening
fly.
to shitty music.
Or it was a spirit trying to communicate with you through a bandwidth that you didn't possess,
Could be.
such as the movie White Noise. They say
that
that
movie.
spirits can communicate through white noise, and one of the objects that I have is a spirit box, and it goes through all the different radio stations, like a quarter of a second each station, so that you never hear a full word, you never hear a full sentence. So as it's scanning these radio stations, if you hear a full word, it could very possibly be a communication from somebody in the spirit world. So it's very possible that you had a spirit trying to communicate with you from the very end of that bandwidth.
Well, I mean, if you could move the tuner, why wouldn't it just get a pen? I mean, that's what I would have done.
Welcome to 110.3 Spirit World International.
Maybe the afterlife is super confusing.
Do you know how much ghost weight pens are?
When you watch the TV shows and you hear the evidence that they come up with, and you hear a whisper of somebody's name or a response intelligently to a question, it's always like a whisper. It's never a yell or a shout. One of the people in our group is a medium. Her name is Jill, and she says that when the spirits speak to you, typically they sound like a runner who's just finished a marathon, because it takes so much energy to communicate with this side
Ghosts
that
don't
they,
breathe.
yeah,
Like that doesn't make sense. Like they might be tired, but why would they have like the same physical?
They breathe.
because
They
they
breathe
are
ghost air.
energy. That
Sure.
it takes a lot of energy.
But how would
they
that
have to
affect their
find.
voice?
They
How do
have
they
to
have voices in
find
the first place?
energy to project whatever energy they have from their reality to ours.
But if they're out of breath, that implies that they're breathing.
I'm not poo-pooing it. It just
Maybe
doesn't
they
make
are.
any sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to
I
me.
haven't had her experience, so I can't say. But
I'm a skeptic.
I am
so
very
the
much.
first thing I say is bullshit.
Yeah.
But
what'd
you know,
say to you? Huh?
Maybe their ghosts are muscles too. Or their muscles are ghosts.
Yeah, ghost muscles are the hardest ones. They're like cheek fat. It's hard to work those out.
This ghost
you
is
get-
so sinewy.
Gotta get surgery from that, I think.
I had a otherworldly experience with a friend of ours who now plays music under the name Violin Monster. But he and I and a few other people had gone to a cemetery specifically for the whole ghost hunting purpose, and we had the shittiest little cheap plastic like amplifiers with the earpiece that you could like ask questions and scan and whatnot. And so we're like just walking around like asking questions, you know, is anyone there? Let us know. And there was no females in our group at this evening, but we very distinctly heard, all of us at the same time heard a female voice go, "Hello."
Sausage party.
And everyone turned and looked at each other and was like, no fucking way did that just happen. And we all reacted at the same time. So someone said something audible.
Is everybody here familiar with the phenomenon of sine wave speech?
No.
No, it is a computer-generated noise, multiple of them layered over top of each other in like, you know, just sine wave. And they'll play them over each other and they sound something like... And then, so you hear this sound and then you read the sentence that they, you know, say this sounds like, and then you cannot not hear that when you hear the sound clip anymore. Mm-hmm. So it's just like it's a matrixing thing that your brain does. Like you could do that with smells too. You smell like a bunch of random shit and you're like, oh, it kind of smells like roses in here.
And now it always will smell like roses.
Yeah, and then it's just, you know, you have an association with that. So
Yeah, I wanted to check that out. That sounded really cool.
yeah. So I don't know why that can't happen with just like ambient noise
it can.
mixed with, yeah, like wind and, you know, what environment noise that you'll
Especially
hear
when
whispering.
you're wanting to hear something.
Right. Yeah.
If
So
you're
you're-
if you're ever in a cave or you're next to a running river,
A babbling
And-
brook, one might say.
yes, the
Where
mighty
do you think
brook,
it got the name?
it can play tricks on your mind because there's a constant noise, there's a constant vibration, and your brain cannot conceptualize what is going on other than noise.
Well, we're trained to
so
look for a
it creates it creates that pattern in your brain that makes you think you're hearing singing or you're hearing voices because with the noise and the movement together, it distorts your brain.
Yeah. So your brain has to make sense of the chaos that's going on.
Correct.
That's the only way it can do it. I was just going to ask you if you could include a link to the sine wave speech in the show notes.
I can do that. And I'll also tell you the scariest moment I ever had while ghost hunting.
Love to hear.
Myself, Jacob Carl, and Kevin Behan had gone out ghost hunting one night because those are two gentlemen. They're very much into this sort of a thing.
I used to go with Pierre all the time.
So after a good long night of traipsing through cemeteries and allegedly haunted spots like Guide Road and whatnot, we finally decided to call it quits and return to our homes. At which point, Kevin Behan fell asleep at the wheel of his car and almost crashed into a car. That's the scariest moment I ever had ghost hunting.
Sounds like every time I've ever driven with Jay.
So you
like every time
almost
Kevin's
became
alive.
ghost yourself.
Yes.
I've never heard that story.
Oh yeah. I actually was going to invite him to be on last week for the Christmas scene that we did.
I have a story about Kevin and those guys going ghost hunting. Now this is like right when I first started hanging out with them. Like I just started like I like met half of them for the first time and started like going to parties or whatever. And I found out through Scott they were all going to the cemetery, and I say, Scott, I'm going to come with you, but don't tell anybody that I'm here. And I hid in this.
Wait, I think I was with you for this. With those girls, fucking Lindsay and her friends.
Yes.
The slutty ones?
Yes.
Perfect.
Wait, were you there with them or were you there helping me? I don't remember.
I was helping you.
All right. I hid under a bunch of jackets and I waited a long time. I waited there deep into the cemetery. I open the door and I go out and I run through. I just sprint through the graveyard. I made like rustling through leaves and stuff. And I knew that they were all far away because they're the only ones in there. I could hear their voices laughing and stuff.
You're like, oh!
Not at first. At first they're like, I thought I heard something. And I just started getting closer and closer and throwing things near them to make just to really get them on edge. And I waited till them to circle around. And I waited till I was maybe about 50 paces away, and I just walked across the path, from darkness across the path into more darkness. And they were all like, did anybody else fucking see that? It was insane. And that's when I started screaming and then shouting at them.
Forever solidifying their belief in ghosts.
And that's what made them want to leave. And I'm like, oh shit, they're fucking leaving.
I have to get in the car.
Yeah. They're all getting to the cars and stuff. So I just sprint after them. And I had to sort of cut through the cemetery to get to where the cars are. And there's a fence in the way. But this is perfect. I scale over the fence and I just start walking really fast at them with my hoodie over my head. And they're all in their cars. They don't know what to do. And they definitely all look terrified. And I walk into Kevin's car and onto his hood, and I just lay there. I just wait for any of them to get out of the car and make some move, and nobody did for the longest time.
That's what real fear does to people. You just freeze.
Yeah.
See, a real paranormal investigator would have stopped the fucking car and got out with all their equipment and started trying to touch you and talk to you. And
You would have
And those are the ones that die in horror stories.
right. Don't be a hot chick or a black dude because you will die in that movie.
You remember?
But you should just go off on your own.
You remember Steve Korn?
Yeah.
He was there.
Of course I do.
He was there too, and he was also definitely one of the people who was most scared. And after that, he was like, "I was getting ready to kick your ass."
After you pissed yourself?
Yeah.
After I told them it was
Nothing
all a
worse
joke.
than getting your ass kicked by somebody that peed their pants.
Right.
No, when I was a kid, when I was infant, when I first came home, my mom and dad were downstairs, and I was up in the attic area where they had the thing set up, my room nursery were set up, and over the baby monitor, my mom and dad heard some woman with a Spanish accent saying, and it's okay, baby, it's okay. And then my dad ran up there, and then there was nobody there, and I was in my bed. And that's my mom's reason for believing in ghosts for her entire life.
Because of a communication device that uses a very limited band.
Yeah.
Right. It could have been a neighbor.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
exactly.
could have been anything.
With your hand gestures, it looked like some Spanish ghost was giving you a hand job.
And that's how I lost my virginity. 2 months old and some Spanish girl.
That explains your choices for your current partner.
Let's be careful where we go. That is my daughter.
Yeah, we didn't mention this Lady Envy's father.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, by the way.
Thus making that joke funny as it was.
What are the tools of the trade? Whenever we went out, it was always just audio and video recording. We never had thermometers or anything like that.
Right. Audio and video are very reliable because they will capture something that you cannot see or hear yourself. But it's come a long way since then. We do have infrared thermometers. I personally have a full spectrum camera that works in infrared and
I do have a
ultraviolet.
question about the thermometers though. It's like one of those laser ones, right? Can't those only take a surface temperature? Like it has to bounce off something in order
Correct.
to get it back.
So if you walk into a room and you pull the trigger on an IR thermometer, it's going to tell you
What
the
the temperature
temperature
of the wall
of
is.
whatever it is you just touched. Where they have certain millimeters or certain meters that will tell you the ambient temperature of the room.
Okay.
So there are all kinds of different thermometers that you can use to sense a change in temperature. There are infrared and ultraviolet cameras, video recorders, because it's believed that somebody in the spirit world who crosses over that wants to manifest shows up in a different light or can communicate in a different octave than what we can hear.
I think what I've heard, at least on the TV shows, is like they're taking heat energy from the room, and so that's why it's colder. Or
Correct.
Create a hotspot or something.
Correct. And like our group has what's called EM pumps. It's electromagnetic pumps. It gives out electromagnetic energy. So if there is a spirit there and they're craving energy to manifest,
Oh, so you're feeding
they
them essentially.
right, you feed them something so that they'll possibly show up so you can get video or audio.
That does sound like it would be
Proof.
more efficient than ambient air temperature.
Correct. There's thermal cameras, which places like DTE will use, or Consumers Energy.
Like the FLIR cam, right?
Right. They'll stand out on the street and they'll look at a house and see where all the heat's coming from.
Yeah.
And then they can determine whether or not you need
Insulation.
insulation or better windows, whatever. And those kinds of items are used because if a spirit comes into a room, they may give off a colder temperature than what the air temperature is. So it's just another one of the things that you can use to say, look, I heard this piece of evidence, I saw this on the camera, and the thermal camera caught this anomaly. So we, like I said, we use scientific evidence to try and prove or disprove that something is paranormal.
Can we find footage that you guys have of this anywhere? Like, do you have a website?
Some of the people who started our group do have audio and visual proof, but of course I didn't bring that with me tonight. But
this won't be out for another couple weeks, so we got
eventually we will have our website up and running, which will include all of our evidence,
time. Good.
audio and visual. But again, when you see it on the device that you captured it on, it's always more clear than if you download it to a computer, then you upload it to a website.
Oh, yeah, anytime you
and then
compress
somebody downloads it to their computer to view it. But anybody ever interested in seeing or hearing what we've captured or has questions, they can always contact us.
So is there a website now?
There is a website, and you can leave. It's eriesshoresparanormal.net. We're also on Facebook, Erie Shores Paranormal. From there, you can get phone numbers and contact us. If anything's ever happened in your home, your pets have reacted strangely to something, you've put something down and you find it later somewhere else, you hear...
They find
You know.
distaste for your favorite toys.
That's right.
Would ghosts blow light bulbs out?
Like
with,
candles?
with the right amount of energy, if that's where they directed it.
So they don't like
probably,
chickens.
That's what I was thinking, because he said your pets are reacting weird and your pets are like all huddled
Well,
together.
you
and
have
freaking
chickens,
And their
they
light
might
bulb
just
went out
peck
after
at
like
something.
5 days
out. It's ghosts.
of straight being on.
That's fucking weird, man.
Super weird.
I think a good our last bullet point here anyway is you said it was a big one, so I figured this would be a good place to kind of wrap everything up. But Alabama brought it up, and what is the criteria of something that is paranormal or a ghost or whatever ranking system there is for?
There's a
this
lot
stuff.
of different theories on what's paranormal and what isn't. Our group looks at everything that they capture as far as evidence. Some you will see or hear exactly when you're there. Others you will hear or see later when you review the evidence. But we don't know exactly what is paranormal. It's a science. You'd never understand anything unless you can explain it simply.
Well, you need
And-
to be able to monitor it efficiently.
Correct.
That's the only way to.
And the
study it.
more equipment you have that can scientifically prove or disprove what you're seeing or hearing is better than less. Mm-hmm. And that's why our group, we strive to have the best, the most updated equipment to try and prove or disprove whatever might be happening in your home. I can't tell you what's paranormal or not because I'm a skeptic. I don't believe. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to find evidence to prove me wrong.
What's
I have
the
not yet found it.
What's the closest thing that has almost swayed you?
That's the problem with magic.
If
is
you
that
see
can't
a
prove it
full,
wrong.
if you see a full body apparition, and we can capture that on video,
Well, that
How do you
would
explain
sway you.
that?
Yeah, absolutely, that would sway you. But what has almost got you? Have you guys seen anything that you
I've-
said? Well, fuck me.
Yeah, wasn't there some video in a barn or something you saw?
I would say, because he's mentioning full body apparitions, that girl that I was talking about earlier in the show, her body is not of this world.
Oh shit! Dream girl, dream girl.
Those tits are haunted.
I want to see pictures of that.
All right.
He's got them, I'm sure.
I've never personally seen anything that made me think, I can't explain that. I've seen a lot of TV shows and stuff that have had compelling evidence to make me think, maybe I should go out there and try it myself.
There's a lot of degrees of separation on a television
There
show.
are.
So.
There really are. I've never seen anything personally that made me think, yep, there is absolutely something paranormal here that I cannot explain, and it's got to be a ghost.
Gotcha. What were you saying, Tyler? There was a barn or
Yeah,
something?
you said there's some video of like a guy in a barn or something.
We went to the old mill in Dundee, and it wasn't me, but my boss, one of the founders of our group, actually captured some video. It was a full body apparition in the basement of an old dude who used to work there, and it was just by happenstance. He had his camera. He panned onto his daughter who was there with him, and over her shoulder, you could see a balding man in like overalls walking through the frame. That was the first thing I ever saw that made me think, wow, I want to go find that for myself.
All right.
Me and Masters had this moment about a joke that he just could have made, and he didn't. He had the most
was the
convoluted notation ever. He wrote 40 on a piece of paper, and I was like, what the fuck is that?
It was at 40. It's
I know
4
it.
degrees.
Are you talking about my band?
Yeah, your band is
There's a
high
lot
school.
of degrees of separation, and I wrote 4. And he's like, what? And I'm like, 4 degrees.
One of my first bands was called 4 Degrees of Separation.
It was a whole lot of stuff
It was,
for nothing.
What was it like? Me, Joe, John Hamilton, and Ray.
Yes.
Maybe we covered one song. It was Underside by Red Hot Chili Peppers. It was not great. It was awesome.
Anybody got anything else about this? You want to write a poem?
I'm good. Let's write a poem.
Let's write a
let's-
poem.
Ghost Dad by Chad Dye. Kid Fisto and ghosts will be friends some way, like riding off a cliff on a Segway. Napoleon, Beyonce, cuddling 36. As a toddler receiving a ghostly Spanish HJ.
Very good. Very good.
So your mom's gonna call you over that?
Yeah, she probably thought that.
Your daughter's probably going to call you when she hears it.
Fantastic.
This podcast is part of the Bobo Broadcasting Network. For this and other great shows, head to bobobroadcasting.com.